magnetic field actually gets distorted by the flying crud. The magnetic field should produce a nice even shield around the Earth. But all this crud hitting it tends to blast it backwards. So it'll extend out this way a long ways and towards the sun just a short ways. Electric! Teaching kids every day is a new adventure. They ask questions that I would never have dreamed of asking, and I didn't know the answers to. So I could learn far more and have much more fun working with kids than doing the engineering. If you watch any kids left to their own means, they're the greatest scientists that ever was. We lived on a street right next to a big orchard, and somebody said, "I've got a slingshot, and it's really good, and I can shoot all the way from here into the orchard." And so, we challenged him to do that. And with a little rock, you couldn't see it. You'd shoot it off and you'd say, "Yeah, I made it to the orchard." You'd say, "No, you didn't. It landed far short of the orchard." And so the contest began. How are you going to shoot a rock that you can see as far as you can make it go? And in our backyard, there was 2 4x4s stuck in the ground. It was like a exercise thing that you could do chin-ups on. So we cut apart some old bicycle tires and took the inner tubes out, found a big piece of leather, and we'd pull it back as far as we could with a dirt clod in there and shoot this dirt clod. And when we got just the right number of inner tubes and the right number of people pulling back on it and let it go at the right angle, we could shoot over 5 yards. And these are big quarter-acre lots. We could shoot over 5 of these quarter-acre lots way, way, way out into the orchard. That kind of thing is where a whole group of people is working together. You're doing something you're not supposed to do, which makes it far more fun. And you're actually seeing some sort of achievable results. And this was real science. And we were just doing it because it was fun. Most of the people I've talked to will start off with a scientific concept, find some sort of a demo or experiment that relates to it, and give that to the students. What I do is experiment with all sorts of things, activities that children enjoy doing. Then I try to find the science behind it, and then we introduce that to children and create a story on the spot. So ours is pretty much backwards. When you watch children just playing with stuff, they get so excited about it, they can hardly stand it. Like the other day, here in the laboratory, we were having the children play with Van de Graaff generators that make little lightning bolts. And they each got to work with their own Van de Graaff generator. And I had been working with them for 20 years. But these kids came up with new ideas. Fun things like the girls were sitting there and their hair would start to puff out and then get attracted to the ball and then bounce back again. And they were so excited because the hair was just going boing, 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 like that. And one of the girls didn't like this. She said, "Oh," and put her hands over her head, and her hair kept doing it. So she got a big piece of aluminum foil and mushed it all over her head and made this metal hat. And then pretty soon, she was going, "Ah, ooh, ah, ooh," because the sparks were jumping from the metal to her scalp, to her hair. And the other kids said, "Oh, wow, that's great." Well, pretty soon, they all had these aluminum foil hats on, some of them with duck-shaped things sticking out the tops. And they could get them to float a little bit above their head, depending on how charged up they got them. It's just great to watch kids get excited with science when you let them run off on their own and discover things. It's fun because they're really doing the experiments themselves. They're doing it kind of like we did it as kids in the neighborhood. They're discovering things and sharing their discoveries. We don't want a teacher to go in and tell them this is what's going to happen. That's the kiss of death. What we want them to do is go in and say, "We don't know what's going to happen. You're going to experiment and find out for yourself." So it's fun because they're on an adventure and they're sharing ideas with each other and they're getting to do something that they ordinarily would have no chance at all to do.